بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. مؤمنين مؤمنات, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continuing on the section of Islamic law regarding purification, we are in the section of purifiers, al-mutahhirat. So the purifiers or al-mutahhirat are the things that we use to purify from the najasat. So we first mentioned what are the things that are considered impure or not pure, or ritually not pure if you wish, and therefore now we need to learn how to purify ourselves or our clothes or articles in terms of dishes and so on, how to purify them from the things that are impure from najasat when they become mutanajjis. So when they become najis as a result of coming in contact with the actual impurity. So the actual impurity itself has a different process of purification, but now we're speaking about what gets in touch with it. So we mentioned, for example, for blood to become tahir, it has to go through istihala, where blood becomes no longer considered blood, it's no longer there, nothing of it is remaining, it's completely decomposed into something else. Whether you want to say it's diluted in water of a pool, or decomposed in the soil and it's part of the soil, or whatever it may be. Similarly, other articles of najasat. So we said the first one and the most significant one of the purifiers is water. Water is in fact the most important part of mutahhirat. Without it, most things are not possible to purify, although we have special circumstances for such situations. So if we have a situation where there's no water, there are certain rules for that. Nonetheless, certain things cannot become pure unless they are washed with water. Okay, or unless they decompose into, they go through istihala and decompose into something else. Okay, complete transformation, or basically completely disintegrate into something else. So water, we said the main one, we did mention that there are different types of water. There is the water that is little versus a lot. There's the water that is mixed versus pure water that's not mixed with anything. And we said we will consider, or we do consider, the pool water that could be mixed with chlorine or other things as water. We still, for the sake of purification, we consider it as pure water. And also we consider the sea water, oceans and so on, though they have salt, they are still considered as water, and for the sake of purification they can be used for purification. And mind you, the water that is mixed cannot be used for purification on both levels of purification. So when it comes to removal of najasa, meaning you wash, say your hand came in touch with some najis thing and you wash it with water, that water to purify has to be pure water, mutlaq, and not mixed, not mudaf. Also, if you were to make wudu or ghusl, the water that you use has to also be mutlaq, or pure water and not mixed. So can I make ghusl with milk? No. Can I make wudu with milk? No. Though it has a big part of the milk is what? A big part of it is water. But it is mudaf, it is not mutlaq. Can I make wudu with juice? Or let's say we make Coke, for example. What's the number one ingredient in Coke or any other kind of soda? It's water, yeah? The first ingredient is water. Can I make wudu or ghusl with it or purify with it? No. Okay? So that is important to keep in mind. Now we have certain things that, let's look at specific examples. I'll give some specific examples of purification, and then we'll allow for questions. We have, for example, dishes that have become najis. Okay? There are different ways of a dish becoming najis, yes? One is it comes in contact with, say, typical najasat like blood, urine, or other items of najasat. That simply gets washed. Okay? If you're using a lot of water, like a tap water, once you wash it, it's done. After removal of the actual najasa. So if there is still najasa on it, you have to first remove it and then you wash it. However, there is the case of alcohol. Okay? If that container was used, and I want you to, especially those who like to go to restaurants and eat out, pay attention to this one. So in other words, women, they like, yeah, is that correct? Yeah, so they like going to restaurants and eat out. So listen to this one. If you are to drink from a cup that was used for wine, can I wash it once with water? It does not suffice. So a glass or a cup or a container that was used for wine, this is perhaps one of the rules that it's not just about the najasa. Here there's something else. Yeah, there is, we call it ash-shara' al-muqaddas. Okay, so somebody said, where is this street? Ash-shara' is not the street. Ash-shara' is the one who makes the law. Okay, from sharia or shara. Okay, shara'a lakum min ad-dini, that is shara. So somebody was saying, you know, ash-shara' al-muqaddas. Often the scholars, they use the term ash-shara' al-muqaddas, referring to the one who makes the law, meaning, you know, the divine law, meaning God. So often scholars use that term, and so somebody who was not familiar with it said, where is that shara' al-muqaddas? Where is that street that is holy? The holy street versus the holy lawmaker. Shara here, we're referring to the lawmaker, okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the lawmaker, knowing that alcohol is very, very dangerous for the society, therefore, He made sitting at a table that is that people are drinking alcohol haram, carrying it haram, selling it, buying it, making it, anything to do with it haram. Yeah. Also, if a container, if some glass or food container is used for that, it has to be washed not once, 7 times. It has to be washed 7 times. So if you say they go through commercial dishwasher, does it rinse once, twice, 3 times, 7 times? Be careful. So don't take it easy when you go and, you know, specifically, basically utensils that are used for alcohol. So this is a special rule. Otherwise, most other najasat, once and it's good. Now, some of you may remember, urine is one exception that needs to be washed twice. Yeah, after removal, it is for the sake of precaution, needs to be washed twice. And this is important to understand because when it comes to Obviously, this is less of an issue with dishes. You don't expect that in your dishes, but on clothes, on body, and when you use the washroom and so on. Very important to keep that in mind. Can I wipe for purification? We cannot wipe. It has to be washed. How much water? As long as you can say, I washed. So can I use a sprayer and wash with it? Yes, you can. Okay, hand sprayer. Now, hand sprayer versus hose. What's the difference? A lot of water versus little water. Yes, so the rules of the little water applies on a sprayer. The rules of a lot of water applies on the hose. So with little water, we said we have to wash other items twice, with urine 3 times. Yeah, so that is something to keep in mind with regards to urine. Now again, when it comes to alcohol, not anything that comes in contact with alcohol you have to wash so many times. Only utensils that you're going to use for eating. Okay, so similar to another article that is that has an exception. For example, in general, if a dog touches you or licks you, your hand, your clothes, what do? You wash. If you're using little water, you wash how many times? Twice. If you're using a lot of water, you wash once. That suffices. Okay? What if the dog licks a utensil? If a dog licks a utensil, there's a special rule. Okay, so if a dog licks a utensil and you want to eat from it, you have to first clean it with sand. Okay, turab, soil, dirt, whatever. You have to rub it with that, and then 3 times, and then you can wash it to purify it with water. So that's another special. That is a special rule. I think that suffices for my part. If there are questions.
Sheikh, we have some questions. One question is here. By the way, if anybody wants to ask questions, you can go to the link that I sent with the announcement. There are links, 4 links there. One of them is about that. If you just look back at the announcement for this week, right after that. I can send it, yeah, you can send that again. We'll just send that link again. There are 4 links there. One is for questions, one is for questions, one is for feedback about the programs and everything. There's a link for donations, and there's a 4th link which I don't remember where it is. But anyway, otherwise just forward it to everybody. If you have the WhatsApp, you can go in there and ask the question. So the first question is, if urine dries in the corner of the bathroom, if you wash that area, what is the condition of that water? Is that water najis?
If you, say it again, if you...
The question is, there's a, it seems like what they're asking is if there's a spot in the bathroom, in the corner of the bathroom, that has urine in it, but that urine has dried out. When you go back to wash that bathroom, if you wash that area, that leftover water from washing, is that water najis?
Okay, so first thing, in order to make sure that you can purify the area, is whatever is there dried up needs to be removed. So the urine that is dried up needs to be use some sort of chemical or water, wipe, needs to be removed. So as long as that najasa is there, say you wash with water, and then you realize that that dot is still there, you've actually spread the najasa. You have not purified anything. Okay? So the first thing is you need what we call aynun najasa, the source of the najis, whether it be urine or feces or blood or other articles of najasat. If it's still there, it needs to be removed first. Once you remove it, then it depends. If you washed with hose, then that ghusala, we call it, the water there is not najis. But if you washed with a little bit of water, that water that's there is najis. Okay.
Next question is, can you make wudu if limbs are already wet? For example, in the shower or when at the beach?
Good question. So there is a distinction to be made here. The parts of the wudu that are to be wiping, need to be dry. The parts of the wudu that are to be washed do not need to be dry. Which parts we wipe? وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ. So Quran says you wipe over the head and you wipe over the feet up to the heel, the bone, like the joint, you could say, in the heel. That's how far, not the whole, because you could say rajl could come all the way up, so the limit is there. So the feet and the head need to be dry, meaning relatively dry. So you had a shower, you dried yourself. If you touch, you could say there's still some moisture, but it's dry relative to what you're going to be doing in wiping. Okay? You wiped your feet, it's still not as dry as normal. It's you dried your feet and you want to make wudu, it's fine. That is, but if it's wet, no, you cannot wipe over it. So the parts of the wudu that are to be wiped need to be dry. The parts of the wudu that are to be washed do not need to be dry. They can be wet.
Third question, if for example blood stains a shirt and the stain doesn't come off no matter how much you wash it, is it still najis?
No, if there is no more actual texture on it, okay, you washed it, there's nothing of the aynun najasa, it's just the color of the blood that remained on it, then it's you wash it properly, it's tahir. You washed it, you squeezed it, there's no more texture on it of the najasa, then it's tahir. You treat it as tahir, even if the color is still there.
There's a hard question here, which I don't want to, because this is really a topic of we want to limit it to that. If the person is anonymous, asks a question, I would rather you ask that directly from Sheikh, because it's really a hard topic and it has a whole discussion, an hour of discussion by itself. So I'm going to skip that and the question is submission.
Inshallah.
Any other question?
Anyone in the audience has questions? If there's any questions, if there are any questions rather here, we can also address them. If the children have any questions, we can also answer. Okay, so I think that concludes. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So we will continue the program with recitation of Al-Quran and then